Now, on my angle tonight, I have a reality check. Last evening, just as we were putting the last touches on the stories from the funeral at Kabarak, a news alert came to our news desk. It wasn't exactly breaking news, but it was an announcement that the BBI steering committee will be starting its hearings this morning. And by the way, the full name of that team is, get this, the Steering Committee on the Implementation of the Building Bridges to a United Kenya Task Force Report. Now you know. But what strikes the most is not the long name of the committee, but rather the short period it took for it to start hearings following Moi's burial. What's more, both ODM leader Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto and their supporters were back on the road, talking loudly about BBI in its bare political dimension just 12 hours later. You see, Moi was not just another Kenyan. He was in politics for nearly half a century. During that period, he was vice president for 11 years and a president for 24 years, the longest-serving president Kenya has ever had and will probably ever have. He went on to live another 18 years before he died last week. And so as far as politics goes, Moi was as great a politician as they come. As for profile, his was larger than life. Yet it took less than half a day for the country to get back to business as usual following his burial. In fact, today the biggest story in town is not that elaborate funeral anymore. It is about the BBI committee and the rallies. It's about a chaser being arrested and kept for the night. It is about a fire here, an accident there, floods over there. In fact, even the story about Gideon Moi being given a rungu at the Kabarak funeral is only a story because it's focusing on life after Daniel Arap Moi. What's my point? You see, in this country, we have taken leadership to be lordship. Many politicians want government offices to come to a standstill when they arrive. Many of them want banks to disrupt all their queues and have dedicated officers to serve them. And haven't we heard of some of them seeking to be arrested decently? And what about those who will kick you out of the road and drive on the wrong side because they are supposedly busier than all of us? In fact, some even get offended if no one seems to recognize their famous faces when they roll down their windows or as they walk in the neighborhoods where they live. That is, if they walk. When they want a pay rise, easy. They simply go to Parliament and in a few minutes the motion is passed. As a political figure, Daniel Arap Moi was many sides. He had many sides to him, a hero to some, a villain to others, but he was present in all our lives for the period that he ruled and even later on, including now, by the policies and politics that he championed. But even with that larger-than-life image, the country could only be at a virtual standstill for 1 week. That should surely give pause to every public official who thinks the country can never function without them. It should remind them that in the end we will move on when they are no longer in those positions. We may mourn them for a day or two or even longer. We may even pay glowing tributes at their funeral and perhaps fly the flag at half-mast. But eventually we will move on. We'll get back to our homes and our lives. We will forget. The question is, what will we remember? The leader who lorded it over everyone, or the one who was a servant of the people? That is my angle tonight.